So that's the scene at the Curragh, and that might well be Joseph O'Brien, who was at Limerick earlier on today. That is Gleneagles. So Gleneagles white cap, Joseph O'Brien. Gary O'Brien taking us through this process, and we might just have a classic winner in picture, Gary.
Yeah, who knows, Matt? Obviously, I don't think you're going to see too much from these horses here today with the ground the way it is. They're probably just going to come up the straight nice and steady, but quite a few people have stayed on just to watch them as they do so, and a big bunch of the O'Brien horses here includes Gleneagles and Highland Reel and Joseph O'Brien, who had that first ride over hurdles this afternoon, coming on here to ride Gleneagles, the favourite for the 2,000 guineas, who was well backed in the last week or so. That's him with the white cap there, just going away from Sir Ryan Moore is riding Highland Reel here. He's wearing a blue cap, and other luminaries in this. Old Man River, Michael Hussey rides him. He's wearing a green cap. And Father Frost is a horse who's been spoken of as maybe one to watch this season. Seamie Heffernan rides him in a red cap. This bunch also includes the likes of Geoffrey Chaucer and Dick Whittington, who was a Group 1 winner, of course, as a juvenile. Not sure exactly how far they're going to be going. Probably just going to be doing about 7 furlongs or so, thereabouts. And then the later groups, of course, John F. Kennedy is in the second one, and some of the good fillies in the final group, Together Forever, Found, and Tapestry. But just reflecting on the day here at the Curragh, been a well-attended opening day given the weather we had earlier on in the afternoon. Kicked off with a win for State of Emergency, who took the 2-year-old maiden at odds of 10-1 for Mick O'Callaghan. Emmett McNamara, who rode him, did pick up a one-day riding ban for careless riding on State of Emergency. Bayin running well for Kevin Prendergast there in second. And Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore teamed up to land the second with the 11-4 favourite, the Warrior, who won well on his seasonal bout. Mulcahy running well in second there for Dermot Weld. And Bubbly Bellini was a good winner of the third, horse that relishes testing conditions for Ada McGuinness. And of course in the Group 3 Park Express Stakes we had an absolute shocker, 100-1 outsider of the field, Ramon, who looked to have no chance in the official figures, won well for Bill Farrell, and Dusty Foley beating Afternoon Sunlight and Amulet. Had a double for Dermot Weld and Pat Smullen, Stormfly winning the Madrid handicap and Ashraf landing the finale. And in between, the Irish Lincolnshire went to the well-fancied One Night I Dreamed, who just got the better of Ozzie Valentine, that one making a bold bid to see off all comers, but ultimately having to settle for the runner-up berth under Sylvester de Souza. I think in particular that last maiden winner, Ashraf, looks a horse who might be worth keeping a close eye on for future reference. Dermot Weld enjoying a good start to the campaign. Pat Smullen likewise. There's some 23 horses in this group of Ballydoyle inmates here, and many a well-known jockey riding as well. Alan Crowe is working in Ballydoyle now. He's riding here. Rides a horse called Crocodile Rock. Ben Dalton, who won the Irish Grand National, you might recall, on Liberty Council. He rides in the later groups. In actual fact, he's riding a horse called St Patrick's Day in this group, Ben Dalton. Colm O'Donoghue, Chris Gagan, Darren O'Dwyer, Dean Gallagher, Emmett McNamara, who rode her first winner today, Ian Queally, Donica and Joseph O'Brien, Seamie and Jamie Heffernan. Jamie Moriarty, who many of you will recall, used to ride for John Ox as an apprentice. Michael Hussey. And Nina Carberry, of course, along with Ryan Moore, all involved in this gentle workout, or what we expect will just be a gentle workout for these Ballydoyle horses. So just to confirm again, Joseph O'Brien easily picked out there in the white cap on board Gleneagles. Ryan Moore in the blue cap on board Highland Reel. They're the two 2,000 guineas hopes, the main hopes for Ballydoyle at this stage. Aidan O'Brien confirmed to us earlier on, and Old Man River is a very interesting prospect for this season as well. Michael Hussey riding in the green cap towards the back of the group. So, as one might expect, coming up pretty steadily. You'll see the ground where they've been tending to come stand side here at the Curragh today pretty chopped up, so not a great surprise to see them staying more towards the far side rail in this particular exercise. And coming up towards the finishing post now, just about 100 yards to go. Gleneagles in the white cap just coming up in the middle of them. Rear of mid-div, Highland Reel. Towards the midfield as well. There are quite a few similar blue caps there. So that's the first batch of the O'Brien horses, and two more to come. We're going to go off for a short break.
There's a whole stack of horses here. Now, as per the last group, Joseph O'Brien is in the white cap. This time he's on Jamaica. And Ryan Moore, again, is sporting the blue cap. He's on John F. Kennedy. Obviously, you can see there just to the left of picture. So, obviously, a big group again, as Gary was telling us from the previous piece of work here. A lot of horses out there, and I'm pleased to say we can go back to Gary once again, who can get us up to date with what's happening here as they make their way down to the start.
Yeah, thanks, Darryl. This is the bunch that contains the Derby favourites. John F. Kennedy, Ryan Moore riding him in the blue cap, and one or two others worth keeping an eye on here. Giovanni Canaletto, who was quite an impressive winner of a maiden at Leopardstown at the back end of last season. Seamie Heffernan rides him here in this exercise, and he's wearing a red cap. Horse is fitted with a sheepskin noseband as well, and maybe one other one to keep an eye on is Sir Isaac Newton, the Galileo colt out of Shastai, who was just touched off by Dermot Wells Zorak in his sole start as a juvenile. That was at Leopardstown towards the back end of the season. Reported to be not quite fully fit that day, Sir Isaac Newton. Just a case of trying to get him out before the end of the campaign and get him some experience, which was achieved. And Joseph O'Brien in this one rides a horse called Jamaica, who he'll be in the white cap once again. A bunch of about 23 Ballydoyle horses once again, as you would have seen if you were watching that first group, they came up very, very steadily indeed, and I imagine it will be something similar here. So we're not going to learn anything much about these horses today, other than that they have a leg in each corner. Just the main objective being just to get them away for a day out, helping bringing them along nice and steadily. Looks again as though they're probably going to be covering about 7 furlongs or so here. Just a couple of other names to mention that are in this group include Order of St George, who was quite a useful juvenile himself, and Cougar Mountain, Nina Carby riding Cougar Mountain in black cap with the white spots. So just sorting themselves out down at the 7 furlong pole here. And a bunch of fillies, the final group, found Together Forever and Tapestry are amongst those, along with Qualify and Kingfisher's in that group, presumably just as a lead horse. So it looks like they're getting ready to roll here once again with this second lot. So once again making the way up from the 7 furlong pole here. A reminder that Ryan Moore in the blue cap on John F. Kennedy. Just try and pick him out for you. It's quite difficult because there are a few with similar caps in this. I think he's right in the middle there, if I can see him in the picture I'm looking at. Horse with a bit of a bay horse, a bit of a white blaze. Just one other pick out for you is the red cap and the sheepskin noseband. That's Giovanni Canaletto, the Leopardstown maiden winner. But John F. Kennedy, of all those blue caps there, the one furthest left I think is John F. Kennedy. So they come up pretty steadily once again, as you might expect. See the ground very chopped up after the earlier action here at the Curragh today. John F. Kennedy coming up around the middle of them. I'm not sure. There's two horses side by side there. The two jockeys with the blue caps, just maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 down or so. I think John F. Kennedy might actually be the one who was finishing off the bit stronger there. He's gone by the line in about 5th of that group. But again, not being asked to do too much there. Okay, we're going to go for another short break.
Something we're already working for Aidan O'Brien. This is the third group. Again, for consistency, the caps are the same as per the previous pieces of work. So if you were watching those earlier, Joseph O'Brien will again sport the white cap. He's towards the front there as they go down on Wedding Vow, who's a horse who's only had the one run and was well beaten in a Leopardstown maiden. So his days are ahead of him. And Ryan Moore is on the much more well known, Together Forever, the Phillies Mile winner, and again sports the blue cap, just coming into picture there, or was coming into picture at the back of that little group there. There he is, just going down there on the far side, left of picture. Others in this group you might want to keep an eye on here are Kingfisher, who did end up running second in the Irish Derby. He's got the blue and orange cap. Michael Maloney rides. Can't quite see the blue and orange cap at the moment, but we may do in a moment or two's time for Kingfisher. Tapestry's in here as well, sporting a red and white cap. On the centre of picture, isn't it, basically? The red on the left, the white on the right-hand side. That's Brian O'Neill riding the Yorkshire Oaks winner, Tapestry. But if you didn't see the earlier piece of work, obviously it's very testing out there today at the Curragh, heavy ground, and they certainly weren't overexerting themselves. The major candidates in the first two pieces of work did finish mid-division, and indeed in one or two cases a little bit further back than that. So it's not your conventional piece of work where the top horses come through and win. We've got a big group here, and it's really just to give them a little bit of a race practice, if you like, or racecourse practice at the start of the new season. So once again, if you're watching for the principals here, Joseph O'Brien, white cap, left of picture as we have a look on Wedding Vow, who's just had the one start so far. Together Forever just coming in there in the blue, almost towards the middle of picture, under Ryan Moore. And the others to watch out for. Tapestry's got the red and white caps to the left of shot there. And Kingfisher in a blue and orange cap, which I still haven't been able to spot. Of course, Joseph O'Brien has started his day, hadn't it, at Limerick, having been riding over jumps. No success for him under National Hunt rules. He's going to ride on the flat at Dundalk on Wednesday, but I was saying earlier that we will see him over jumps again as the season continues, but he certainly will be on the all-weather at Dundalk on Wednesday evening. Across at the Curragh, so we're just having a look at this on a slight delay here, obviously, so you can get the full benefit of what has been taking place. So once again, the ones to really concentrate on here are Together Forever. He's got the blue cap and about fifth or sixth from the back at this early stage, and he's just being flanked by Wedding Vow in the white cap, Aidan O'Brien, who is right towards the rear of the field, and Seamie Heffernan's got the red cap. He's on Qualify, who's just in behind the principals. Obviously there's quite a few maroon caps, just to confuse matters a little bit here, but we're watching principally the horses with the form from last year. Obviously Tapestry, another one who had top class form last year in the Yorkshire Oaks. She's in the red and the white. She's towards the left, nearer the back than the front, as they continue this piece of work. This was a minute or two ago. Third and final batch of Aidan O'Brien's team of 65, so it's quite an exercise, isn't it, in getting them all there, getting everybody organised. And we're watching Aidan debrief the riders from the previous two groups. So Wedding Vow is going to finish towards the back in that white cap, near a mid-division, the blue cap of Together Forever, making a little bit of late headway as they go inside the final half a furlong or so. And I think, for the record, looks as though it might well be David McCabe on the horse who's going to finish in front here, the red and black cap on the Kissed by Angels. So if you have any if there's any significance in finishing on top in this particular piece of work, then it was Kissed by Angels who did just that. So that was a moment or two ago. Here are the jockeys having dismounted, just giving their feedback to Aidan and no doubt receiving similar as well. Huge group there. And that completes the 3 batches of work this afternoon at the Curragh. We're going to head off for a quick break.